when 50 Cent was at the height of his popularity, somewhere around the middle 2000s. He had a ton of relevance in pop culture as an aspiring businessman even in his early days. He took opportunities to grow his brand and create investments through endorsements whenever he could. The products he partnered on and helped develop ranged from body sprays to condoms, and one of his most successful early deals, his 2004 partnership with Vitamin Water, brought him millions. In addition to the business opportunities being offered to him, 50 was creating his own as well, growing G-Unit into a legitimate business, brand, and label. He also began film production companies and even developed a clothing line. 50 then increased his income by becoming a shareholder in a vodka company from the Netherlands, as well as endorsing luxury underwear and attempting to launch a set of headphones like Dr. Dre, and then declaring bankruptcy on the heels of several lawsuits over the course of his career, one which hasn't ended yet. 50 has made several successful companies and products that eventually fell by the wayside in pursuit of greener pastures. One example is G-Unit Clothing. What happened to the brand? There was a time when people thought it was going to be the next Rockaware or Sean John, and then poof, it disappeared. Let's get into it. What up guys, Ali here and welcome to Ali Talks Music. Add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music as well. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. Now let's get into the video.
Yeah, you got them 24-inch Lexanis. You can't get these on the street.
Check out the genuine embroidered on the club.
Now, as we all know by now, 2003 was a very hot year for 50 Cent. He dropped Get Rich or Die Trying, an album that spawned his most popular single to date, In the Club.
Look, mommy, I got the X, so get into taking drugs. I'm into having sex, I ain't into making love.
He then proceeded to take down his foes one by one, like Ja Rule. And in that same year, he introduced the world to G-Unit by dropping the album Beg for Mercy. On the other side of the field, 2003 was a very successful year for Ecko Enterprises. The company had been founded around the early 90s by Mark Ecko, his twin sister Marcy Tapper, and Seth Gersberg. For those of you who don't know who Mark Ecko is, he's the guy who founded Complex magazine around 2002. So on one side we have 50 Cent and G-Unit growing as a brand, and on the other side we have Mark Ecko, a businessman with years of experience. In this year, these major players decided to join forces, teaming up G-Unit with Ecko Enterprises and launching a limited line of menswear. It would grow quickly to include clothes for women and children, and even leather goods and watches. They even had an urban streetwear section, which was inspired by 50 Cent's image as well as G-Unit, and had a full range of sweaters, tracksuits, and t-shirts. Their signature pieces were modeled after 50 Cent's signature outfit, tank tops and all. Now, because G-Unit appeared to be a label full of gangster rappers, and because these were men that came up from the streets, the clothing style they created closely reflected hip-hop culture and quickly became a hit both with fans and fashion enthusiasts. Now, the deal between Ecko and G-Unit was very unique in that Ecko was not handling the design of the clothing, leaving that to 50, and instead they would focus on marketing and merchandising. Meanwhile, as G-Unit grew, 50 expanded the brand to include sneakers. Thus, that same year, he partnered with another sportswear giant, Reebok. They then combined forces to come up with a signature brand of sneaker. The deal with Reebok was a 5-year deal and spawned many easily identifiable models in white, blue, and red, all combined with the signature G-Unit logo.
I don't swing golf clubs, but I still like golf brooks. I'm hot, man, I rock Reeboks, man.
Together, the sneaker line and clothing line were very successful. And while it was not on the same level as Jordan or Nike, it was still very successful that it got a lot of people wearing it. In fact, I'll tell you this, there are people in Africa who are still rocking G-Unit clothing to this day.
The new GXT by Reebok, in stores now.
So yeah, the company was a success, and by 2005, 50 could not help but brag about how his clothing line was doing in comparison to clothing lines ran by other rappers. G-Unit Clothing did $55 million in its first year, Sean John did 23, and Rocawear did 18. So like I said, I don't mind doing deals behind pole, as long as I do it better. I have their information, I can see what worked for them and what didn't.
So Fifth look at everybody's shoes and he like, niggas got on Louis, niggas got on Gucci.
He don't talk like that.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So the nigga like, yo, so Buck Bankster, he like, niggas got on Louis, niggas got on Gucci. Where the fuck is the Reebok shit? I could have paid the football niggas, man.
So that 180 is for you to endorse the sneakers.
It's just 180, just have it on, my nigga.
Wait. Did everybody else in that room get a check like you did?
Of course, my nigga.
Okay, that's wild.
Banks, Buck, everybody.
And you wasn't wearing it either?
Hell no.
G-Unit Clothing grew to the point that the company was accounting for 15% of Ecko Enterprises' revenue. By 2006, it was generating about $75 million a year. 50 was entitled to 8% of that, which means he was bringing in about $6 million every single year, simply for selling hats, t-shirts, or any clothing bearing his brand. So for 5 years, the partnership between 50 and Ecko was going steady. They were doing huge numbers together, so it came as a huge surprise when the pair parted ways around 2008. So, what went wrong? Well, it turns out that soon after partnering with 50 and G-Unit, Ecko Enterprises began to make some very terrible business decisions. As a result, they began losing money left and right, and at one point they had to fire 15% of their staff.
There was a photo shoot, and I forgot exactly what season it was for. And he said to my marketing guys, just like in the way that he is so intensely focused, is like, one day I'm gonna have a clothing company, just like, and you know, he said it with like he knew it was gonna happen, and he was like, it might be with you. To his credit, the I don't know, it just was catalytically, it happened. It was like one of those things. But from my view, what happened mechanically in the industry is there was just too much supply than there was demand. And it wasn't like a G-Unit bad thing. It was more like the general market condition, because like everybody was on the come up at that period. So the market, it kind of was like the surf industry. If you study the surf industry in like the 80s, it got filled with too many brands. There's too many options.
The company then began to lose deals left and right, like how they lost a deal with Tommy Hilfiger. So after a while, it became time for 50 to cut his losses and move on. 50 then split with Ecko while retaining ownership of the clothing line, and because he was already a huge star at this point, one with knowledge about the fashion industry, relaunching the line in his own name simply made sense. Now, it seems like the business relationship between 50 and Mark was not over, because around 2009 the pair partnered up once again with plans to relaunch the line for spring 2009. However, in that same year, production with Ecko ceased completely. After that, 50 decided to put his focus elsewhere. Today, G-Unit Clothing is still very much active, but as of 2019, it's exclusively sold online. Despite the relatively quiet hustle, the clothing line has been moving. It's not doing $75 million in 1 year like it used to do, but the brand still has its audience. You know, there's someone out there rocking G-Unit Clothing right now. Baggy jeans, cap tilted to the side, and all. So, why isn't G-Unit Clothing moving units like it used to? The same applies to clothing lines like Sean John, Rocawear, Fubu, once titans in the game, and now they're more like relics. If you're seen wearing any of these brands today, people think you're either broke or living in the past. These days you gotta be rocking something like Balenciaga to be taken seriously, maybe even Gucci. So that begs the question, why don't clothing lines ran by rappers stand the test of time? Well, for starters, the fans grow up. They move on from following or idolizing their favorite rappers' every move to growing up starting families. And they also realize that if they don't get their shit together, their favorite rapper is going to call them broke on every single song they rap on. So as people get older, their priorities shift. And that's why record labels are always trying to target the youth, you know? It's because they have no jobs, man. That's basically it. Kids have nothing but free time on their hands, whereas a grown-up is not going to the concerts, they're not buying the albums, they're not streaming them, they're not buying the merchandise. They've got real live shit to do, and they've essentially outgrown their favorite rapper or singer. So while the more seasoned rapper or singer begins to fade away, there's a new artist on the rise. And this new artist wears skinny jeans and a floral blouse from the women's section at Macy's. And that's who the kids of nowadays want to look like. It's just how fashion changes from time to time. In this ever-spinning carousel of style, there's always room for the next big thing. It's relentless, it's unpredictable, but one thing's for certain, it's constantly changing. That's it for me, it's your boy Ali. What happened to G-Unit clothing in your opinion? Let me know down below. Also, if you want me to cover FUBU, Sean John, etc., let me know down below as well. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.